Up to this point, our requests have been working fine, but there's potentially a big security problem. If you've been paying attention, our requests for this app are being sent using HTTP. We can see this if we go to the app constants file, and we notice that our API scheme is HTTP, and this scheme is what's being used. Here we go. In the TMDB URL from parameters, it's using our API scheme, which is HTTP. Now, while we've defined the proper settings in the info.plist file to allow for this, there's still a big security risk, especially if we're making requests that send usernames and passwords as parameters of a URL, like we did when we logged in through the API. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's go back to the login view controller. Let's find that login with token method. Here we go. Let's add a print statement that shows the URL for the login request that we're making in our login with token method. When I click the login button, okay, here's our URL. So I've clicked the login button and we can see that the URL is being printed where the username and password are sent as plain text. So if somebody was watching the network traffic going from my phone to a server, or even from my simulator to a server, they could see these values. And this is obviously very bad. Let me show you how this might look for somebody who's snooping on network traffic. I'm going to do this using an application called Charles. You don't need to install Charles yourself. I'm just going to use it for this example. In Charles, we can see all the web traffic that's incoming and outgoing on this particular machine. So I want to see the requests that are being sent to the movie database, and as you can see, we've made a request recently. If I select this request and then I go look at the summary, I can actually see what the traffic looks like as it's leaving my machine. So I can take a closer look, and here's our validate with login method. I can actually see my username here, and then here's my password in plain daylight for everyone to see. So we definitely need to fix this, but thankfully it can be done really quickly since the movie database provides us a way to send requests like these securely. If we go back to the documentation, we can take a look at this HTTPS SSL section. And as we can see, it simply tells us instead of making an HTTP call, we just need to make an HTTPS call, and then we're set. What this is effectively going to do is, by making the HTTPS calls, it's going to encrypt all the data that's being sent from our app so that nobody can snoop on us. If you want to hear more about HTTPS, then I put a link in the instructor notes to our web development discussions on the topic. Okay, so to fix the problem, we just need to make one small change in the constants.swift file. Let's change our scheme from HTTP to HTTPS. Now we'll build this project. Let's go ahead and log in. Now I'll go ahead and switch back over to Charles, and you'll see that we have the HTTP requests that we previously did, and then these HTTPS requests. And as you can see, since we're using HTTPS, we don't really know anything in terms of snooping about what's happening in that request, whereas we can still see things that are being passed with this request. The best part about all this is we're pretty much getting it all for free because the movie database supports HTTPS. So when in doubt, just use HTTPS.